When French colonization began in Vietnam in 1858, it wasn't just the start of foreign rule, it was the beginning of a deep wound, one that cut through the identity, pride, and memory of a people. France quickly seized control of Vietnam's ports, cities, and trade. By the late 1880s, all of Vietnam was under colonial rule, divided into Tonkin, Annam, and Cochinchina. But what France built on the surface, railways, roads, factories, came at a terrible cost. They took land from Vietnamese farmers and handed it to French settlers and collaborators. Entire families were pushed off ancestral lands, forced to work as laborers in their own country. French plantations grew rubber and rice, not for the Vietnamese but for export. Villagers paid crushing taxes, often more than they earned. But it wasn't just the economy that was taken, it was culture, language, and identity. Traditional education, based on Confucian thought and Vietnamese literature, was replaced. Children were taught French, not Vietnamese. They learned about Napoleon, not the Trung sisters or Loloy. The French told them they were lucky to be civilized. They banned books, censored speech, and dismantled local traditions. Temples were desecrated, sacred festivals were controlled. Even the way people dressed and spoke was judged. Some Vietnamese accepted French rule, but many did not. Why? Because the Vietnamese were not just passive victims. They were a people forged in resistance. For over 1,000 years they had pushed back powerful empires, Chinese, Mongol, and now French. Resistance was part of the national story, passed down in poems, songs, and prayers. In the 1880s, the first major revolts erupted, like the Can Vuong movement, led by loyalists who wanted to aid the king against the French. They believed Vietnam's emperor could still lead them to freedom. But the French crushed these uprisings with brutal force. Still, resistance did not end, it simply changed shape. Secret networks formed, rebels hid in forests and mountains. In cities, students and teachers whispered revolutionary ideas. In temples and markets, coded messages passed from hand to hand. Many were arrested, many were executed, but the dream of freedom spread like fire in dry grass. The French had more guns, more ships, more money, but the Vietnamese had something France could never understand: the unbreakable belief that their land, language, and dignity were worth fighting for. This is not just the story of war, it is the story of a nation that refused to forget who they were, even when the world tried to erase them. This is episode 2 of our Vietnam War history series. Next, early revolutionaries, Phan Boi Chau, and the seeds of modern nationalism. Subscribe to continue the journey.